And welcome inside the Backstage Pass Hump Day, Wednesday. Hard to believe it's almost to the weekend here. And of course, our final show's coming up tomorrow on the entire week here for us, too. And of course, we'll be out of pocket Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back for another short week next week, Monday through Thursday with some shows, and then off for the Christmas holidays there for a couple of weeks there as we take a little break to spend time with our families here. Again, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, Honky Tonk Texas. You can check us out, KKTC 99.9 True Country, and via the LMNOC streaming app out there at 10 Mountain Time every night out there too, and at hightidecountry.net, and powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Pleased to welcome my featured artist of the day. Her new single, Airstream Dreams, collaboration with Caleb Lee Hutchinson, is across all the digital platforms. Jessie Wilson to the show. Jess, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's good to be here and good to have you here too as well. Well, let's start right there because I'm always the person just ask those questions. I love collaborations in the industry, and this one comes with one of the best baritone voices I've ever heard when it comes to Caleb
I'm
Lee
glad you,
Hutchinson.
I mean, most people appreciate it, but that's what I think. I think he has one of the best male voices, hands
He
down, period.
he does, and hopefully we'll talk to him on the backstage pass on a future date too. But talk about this one, how the collaboration came together, the song itself, the writing. This is a great single.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I kind of felt like I had something special when we wrote it. Funny story, I'd seen Caleb on TV in 2018 when I was back in Alabama, still
Mm-hmm.
living there. And knew who he was, loved his voice then. And then I moved here 4 years ago, fast forward to this past April, when he winded up seeing me out singing at a writer's round and really liked my style. And we met each other and started talking, and we got a songwriting couple dates scheduled because he was going to Texas to record his record like 2 or 3 weeks from when I met him that day. And so we got to write. The first single we actually wrote together was Quarter Life Crisis. He put on his record, which was cool because I've never had a songwriter cut. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
little tidbit I've been trying to tell as many folks as I can. But so we wrote that song. That was great. And then we had a show in Virginia. We agreed to do a duo up there. And anyways, we were on our way back, and I saw an Airstream. And I don't remember if I said or Caleb said it, but we might have both kind of just thought about it at the same time. But just that concept of Airstream Dreams, and just, I hadn't been on the road as much as I want to be yet, but I'm fixing to embark on that journey. So just kind of envisioning that life that I'm about to kind of be like shot into.
Mm-hmm.
But so we get back and we wrote it really easy. I mean, it might have taken us 2 hours tops. And I just think it talks about the simplicity of life, and that, the American dream for everybody's a little bit different. And some
Mm-hmm.
people don't want a lot of money, and they don't need a lot of materialistic things to be happy. And for me, I just want to do music and travel the world forever till my last breath. So
I, you couldn't have said it better right there too, and that's what it made me think about was all the different facets we go through in our life. And money, let's say, the root of all evil, but we've heard that expression before in our
yeah,
life too. And simplicity is key. And I think one of the lyrics in there that you talk about is just how those lyrics all come together. There was a lyric about the sink and about the one mirror and about the
yeah,
kids, being, I mean, and as a first time father here, I can say the same thing too, that it's just a fantastic, simple song. And it's something that's just like water off a duck's back. It just makes it go so much, and it makes you smile because it makes us really sometimes want to focus on the little things in life that we miss, the little dot I's and cross T's, the little simple details of like taking care of our family and taking time and taking care of ourselves. And
yeah.
then out there chasing the almighty dollar, it's a lot harder than we think.
Yeah, I feel like it is a nice reminder. I mean, we all kind of get caught in the tussle and bustle, and trying to be somebody and grow in the ladder and all the things, but it's a kind of like, hey, the just remember it's the simple things. And for everybody that's different. Like, I don't have kids yet, one day I will, but for
Mm-hmm.
you, I'm sure it's your children, and it's your own kind of Airstream dream. And I don't own an Airstream, but for me, the way I envision that is just the kind of life, like I said, traveling to music, and everybody's will be different. But for me, like, it's just the simple things that we need to be reminded
No
about.
doubt about it. No doubt about that too. Hey, let's talk a little bit about you. Growing up, you mentioned there kind of the Alabama and then kind of knowing the South very well. You've got that Texas country sound that everybody looks for in a female artist down here. At least I think you do when it comes down to it. I mean, I've hosted this show for a long time, so I'd like to think that I can know what I'm talking about when it comes to sound and great songs. But growing up, you're listening to when it came to influential artists. Who were you listening to, and then what drew you in to music? What was that connection?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I didn't really I didn't come from a mom and a dad that loved music, was always going to concerts. It really wasn't them. What they listened to. I mean, they listened to the radio and they had their own CDs and the things that they love. But it's funny because I didn't really come from a family of music lovers. But my mama was really into Motown and soul music, Michael Jackson and Temptations, things like that. But she had a really wide variety of musical taste. She also liked 90s country. We were Dixie Chicks, listening to
Hmm.
all things 90s. She loved Fleetwood Mac. So Cher, remember we cleaned the house Saturdays mornings to Cher playing. And then my dad was, I mean, country as country gets. It was Hank and Willie, and then mostly really like the next kind of the next stage of men with Alan and Tim and those kind of guys.
Hmm.
So Brooks and Dunn. So that was what he loved. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe that kind of helped mold my kind of unique sound, because even I don't just listen to the same old, just one kind of genre of country. I love Texas country and
Hmm.
90s country, and I love folk and Americana music too. So yeah, but kind of all over the place, really.
A little bit of everything too when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
These Texas artists down here too that are still, I mean, killing it these days too for themselves, and really don't have to leave the state of Texas to make a name for themselves. Stoney LaRue, Aaron Watson, Kevin Fowler, Randall King. Look how far he's come up. Our good
Yeah.
buddy Randall King. That's a pretty much a statement in itself when it comes down to these Texas artists kind of doing their thing, and really they can branch out and leave the state of Texas if they really want to, but they really don't have to. But they know their sound, they know what they want to accomplish. Great songwriting, and the collaborations is becoming a huge important part of the business now, right?
Yeah, yeah. When I sent this song to my producer, he was just like, "I love this." I send him. I mean, I write 3 times a week, and I'm very picky too. I've written over 400 songs probably now, but I remember
Hmm.
sending him a song, and he was like, "I love this." And I told him about Caleb. He had remembered vaguely, hearing about him, and I was telling him about him. And Caleb has such a bigger fan base than I do, and he's like, "This will be a great cross fan base, for you being up and coming." And which has been great. Like, a lot of his fans have found me, and they're really sweet, bought my merch, and it's just done really well. And I'm grateful for him, and for him agreeing to come be a part of this song with me.
Oh, it's a great song, no doubt, too, as well. Again, it's out there, Airstream Dreams, across all those digital platforms, too, as well. We're going to come back, take this time out for our friends at Bangtail Whiskey. Our good buddy Brandon Bang out there, too. It's available in the Texas market. You can actually get it now at bangtail.com. Put the order in, get some merch there, too. And check out honkytonktexas.us. And also with the whiskey, it's out there in Live Oak in Nashville, too, at the same time. And select Total Wine and Specs in the San Antonio market out there in San Antonio, Texas. Love that town. We'll be back in there over the next week and a half, too, as well. We'll come back and talk about one of the songs she did with Sam Banks called How About We Find Out. We're going to find out about it on the other side here from Jessie Wilson. It is the Backstage Pass, KKTC True Country 99.9 out there in Taos, New Mexico, and Pueblo, Colorado, and HighTideCountry.net. More here on the show, presented by Bangtail Whiskey. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune in to the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com, and out there, KKTC 99.9 True Country in Taos, New Mexico, and up into Colorado. And, of course, another streaming station. We're on HighTideCountry.net. Back here with Jessie Wilson, the new song Airstream Dreams, across all the digital platforms here with Caleb Lee Hutchinson, too, as well. You're on the Backstage Pass, presented by Honky Tonk Texas and Bangtail Whiskey, no doubt, out there too. If you love the drink, bangtail.com is the place to go too. Hey, before we set you up for a little performance here in a little bit, how about we find out about this EP? Because, and I love saying this because it's such a great segue. You did the song with Sam Banks, and your vocals were spot on when it came to a perfect harmony. And this is a great collaboration. This whole EP is fantastic, and it's great country music for the casual fan, the hardcore fan like myself. You really set this EP up for tremendous success.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was very proud of that. The sound and my producer, and just, I mean, I got to play with A-list players. Tim Galloway, the guitar player, played on Bailey Zimmerman's religiously. He kind of plays on a lot of Bailey songs, and a bunch of those guys just, are A-list players. And so I was honored to get to work with them. And I'm very proud of the sound. I mean, I think it does sound radio ready, and it wasn't cheap, but I knew that what I wanted, and I knew I wanted it to sound live and raw and real and just warm and like all the sounds combined. And so I'm very pleased with it. And I, at the time, picked 5 of my best songs, and I feel like they were a good variety. You know, I had a slow, sad dad song, I had a sentimental mama song, I had a breakup wild song. You know, all kinds of just kind of a showcase of who I am in this current time in my life.
Well, the title track itself did it for me because another great collaboration. Talk about just the getting together, Sam Banks, the writing, and that one itself is a great lead off for a record that really, to me, it just like took me by storm. Like I mentioned, those harmonies and what you do with vocally with him, and it just in and out, and also the instrumentation made me feel like a '90s country song.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I feel like it's just a good groove and dancing song.
Hmm.
I wrote that with my buddies Davis Corley and Stone Alley, and um, I'd written it really just for me. I sang it out all the time at writers' rounds and at my shows, and then it just hit me. I was like, I should do a duet for this EP, and then I just thought of Sam. I saw him all the time singing at a place called Nashville Palace here and Scoreboard and the local, and I've always loved his voice and all the guys in that group. Are phenomenal. Dan Alley, Timothy Baker, all those guys. So I approached Sam and asked him, and he was like, "Heck yeah!" So that's his first song that he has out there right now. Like
Hmm.
I believe he is going to do the artist thing, and he's been writing and working his tail off like we all are. So it's kind of cool. That was his first. I believe I'm pretty positive public song that's been
Hmm.
released. So
No, it's a great country song, no doubt. And then you get into not even I got to say goodbye, which is on that record too. At the same time, to give us a little backstory of that one.
oh Lord, I might make you cry because we're both going through the same thing. Well, yeah, that was emotional. When I moved here, trying to make my crazy story could fill up 5 whole chapter books. But I moved here 4 years ago. Moved here in 2019, and I've been here like 8 months. We had the pandemic and
Hmm.
4 year relationship, but kind of just let me go right after my dad had passed
Hmm.
unexpectedly, and that was in April of 2020. So that was a bummer and a really, really hard thing to kind of deal with being so far away from home, which my parents have been divorced a long time since I was like 3 or 4, but I had a really good blended family. I mean, all holidays, my stepmom, my stepdad was there. Everybody got along really good. I was a bit blessed to have that kind of family dynamic, but that was really hard. Like I said, it just kind of, I've been praying and wanting to be in Nashville for years and years and years and finally coming. And I had one of the worst first years I think anybody could ever dream up for themselves. But looking back, I'm grateful because I knew if I stayed through that, then I'm in it for the long haul. So yeah, it was tough. And I wrote that song with Miss Becca Ray here, a great Nashville writer. And that was hard. We wrote it weeks after my dad passed. So I don't even know how I got through it, but I knew that I wanted to do it. And it's still to this day one of the hardest songs I have to sing live. And I tear up
Hmm.
and I'm like, you know what? That's me and this is my story. And that's kind of really kind of what I want my brand to be all about is just raw authenticity and, it's talking about the real things we all deal with that are kind of hard to talk about, I guess.
This industry too, Jesse, is very, very good right now when it comes to you look at someone like Lanny Wilson doing what she's doing, and then you look at Ashley McBride and Carly Pierce and this award show that just passed a few weeks ago there for the Country Music Awards that they just had to, or the ACM Awards that just passed in November. I can't recall a time, maybe '90s country period from '90 to 2000 ish, maybe '02, '03, somewhere in there. But it's hot right now in a good way. It's one of those things that this industry, from a female standpoint, is very healthy too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very excited. It does seem like a lot of women are getting the spotlight they deserve, and those ladies you just mentioned are most of all of my major influences. Ashley and Miranda and Lainey and Morgan Wade are like my top 4 right now, which it kind of changes, but they've always just really inspired me. And there's a lot of different, I feel like the ladies that kind of do branch out and have a little bit of uniqueness are getting a little bit more of the attention and whatnot. But yeah, I think there's a lot of trailblazers going on, and Meg McCree, and there's a bunch of another level of artists that are fixing to be up in the spot that Laney's in a few years. So it's exciting.
You put one out back to that record. How about We Find Out? This was a single before it was actually on that EP, Business of Bad Decisions. Let's dive into that one too.
Yeah. Hey, that was my Brave song. I don't know if you knew, and I talk about it sometimes online, but I used to be an elementary teacher for 5 years
Hmm.
before I moved here. So got my degree because that's what my mom wanted me to do. As I told you, I was in a long relationship that kept me home longer than I planned. But
Mhm.
anyway, I was also a worship leader at one point in my life. So I've kind of done it all in my 20s and been to
Mhm.
Africa twice. Anyways, I told you I could
Wow.
write 5
Yeah.
chapter books probably. But back to business, bad decisions. For me, that was kind of my like, I'm an adult and it's okay to make bad decisions song. It was kind of
Mhm.
my like, this is my courageous song because I was a people pleaser and I had to be this perfect little angel in a smaller town in Alabama. And I was looked up to by a lot of people and it was a lot of pressure really. And so when I moved to Nashville and, just was single and, just finding myself, figuring it out, partying with my friends and making
Mhm.
mistakes. And I wrote that song with Davis Corley and Ryan Rossabo. And as soon as we wrote it, I was like, it kind of has a Morgan Wade vibe, which I love her. And I just love like I said, the realness of it. And the way I usually intro it is just like, any of y'all made a bad decision? And some people are like, they barely want to raise their hand. I'm like, it's okay. We are not
Mhm.
perfect. All of us had made good
We have.
decisions and you made bad decisions. So I don't know. I love the vibe of the song, but more than that, I love the message. Like I said, of just being like we're all human, we all make mistakes.
And we do, no doubt about it. Nobody's perfect when it
Yeah,
comes down to it. I think you learn through more through your failures than you do your successes when it comes
yeah.
down to that too. And that's just one thing I've learned
Amen.
to do here on even running a business like this, a podcast business. You're going to make mistakes and trip and
Oh
fall, and
God, that's the only
uh,
way you do know.
that's it.
Now
Learn through failure.
I was trying to set up that microphone like I told you. Now I know since it didn't work this time that next time I know how to do it.
You know how to do it too, as well, no doubt too. We'll take time out. Jesse's got a special treat for us coming back. She's going to play a song for us off the EP. How about we find out too? We'll take that break and find out about Bangtail Whiskey here on the Backstage Pass. Check them out at bangtail.com. Makes the perfect cocktail out there for the holidays, and drink responsibly too as well. And get that merch sent directly to your door, and the bottle of whiskey, 750 milliliters of that corn mash 90 proof Bangtail whiskey at bangtail.com. And of course, out there, honkytonktexas.us. Texas, little secret down here in Silsbee, but boy, some major acts come through down here at Honky Tonk, Texas. We're on KKTC True Country 99.9 and via the LMNOC streaming app out there too. And of course, hightidecountry.net, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com, coming back with a performance and rapid fire with Jessie Wilson here. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, the Backstage Pass, back here with Jessie Wilson on the show, again presented by Bangtail Whiskey and our friends at Honky Tonk, Texas, KKTC 99.9 True Country, to find the show out there on syndication and the LMNOC streaming app, and also in Oklahoma, hightidecountry.net. Well, I'll tell you what, I love it. Airstream Dreams is across all those digital platforms. The latest single with Caleb Lee Hutchinson, too, as well, who was on American Idol a few years ago. And, of course, the EP we're talking about a lot right now with Jessie, which is How About We Find Out. And I guess we're going to find out what song you're going to play now.
Yeah, I figured I'd actually gonna do a song we haven't even talked about yet, but it's a
All
song
right.
I wrote for my mama called "That's What Mamas Are For."
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it really about my stepdad. He was going through cancer at the time, and she was his caregiver, and he went down real quick in 8 months because of chemotherapy. And anyways, that's a tough thing. And right before Christmas, December 19th of 2021 is when we lost him. But I wrote this song with my friend Reagan Russo, and I think we captured a mama's job, which is my superhero. If you got a good one, they're juggling all kinds of things. So this is a song I wrote for my mama, who is my best friend. So
Here we go.
this song's called "That's What Mamas Are For." It's out everywhere, y'all. There's no dreamers in her generation, so she raised one. But chasing a dream can be as complicated is chasing the sun. These days I just sit and I kick myself from moving far away. So I call her up and say, I've had a real hard day. Know you got a lot on your plate. You don't need nothing more, she says, baby. That's what mamas are for. Well, I'ma put on tears, sitting right here on the side of I-24. She says, baby, that's what mamas are for. He don't love me the way I want him to, but he tries to be the man he knows I need. Sometimes it leads to kissing and trying, cussing and fighting, and I just gotta walk away. So I call her back and say, I've had a real hard day. I know you got a lot on your plate. You don't need nothing more, she says, baby. That's what mamas are for. Well, I'ma put on tears, sitting right here on the side of I-24. She says, baby, that's what mamas are for. When I cry, she cries. She dries my eyes. When I smile, she smiles. That's what mamas are for. When I cry, she cries. She dries my eyes. When I smile, she smiles. That's what mamas are for. I've had a real hard day, and I know you got a lot on your plate. You don't need nothing more, she says, baby. That's what mamas are for. Well, I'ma put on tears, sitting right here on the side of I-24. She says, baby, that's what mamas are for. She says, baby, that's what mamas are for. She says, baby, that's what God put me here for.
Love it. Jessie Wilson here on the Backstage Pass. That's what mamas are for, and that's a well-written song, no doubt, too. And like I said, when you need them, hey, mine called me this morning. That's what she was for, too.
Hey.
I spilled all the beans out there. Tell her how much I still love her, and again, just
that's
like I said,
right.
what's
I
going
tell
on in my life.
everybody.
Yes,
I tell all my friends that. I don't try to sound morbid, but I'm like, if you got your parents, hug them and tell them you love them, because one day we're all going to go through that, and just enjoy the time you get with them, you know.
And I just did, Justin.
I'm sorry about that.
Lost one, and it's tough. You know, you've been through it, and honestly, hug them and. Whew, man, just tell them what you can do in life, because it's tough to go through something like that too. But again, we all have to face that at some point in reality too. It's not something we can escape when it comes down to it. We're only here for a short period of time too. Again, I love this EP, and I know this song is so successful out there right now, and I see it as a top 10 single, Airstream Dreams, at radio, again featuring Caleb Lee Hutchinson. Off that record too, I wanted to ask you about Leavings, All That's Left to Do. Which was the last song that you got to wrap up on with that EP. Another fantastic kind of smash. It started well, it ended well, and you put your 5 best songs on this record. You did.
Yeah, I wrote that one with Stone as well. He's one of my favorite guys to write with around here. But yeah, I feel like I feel like the older you get, you know, the message of that song is you're not meant for everybody, and everything doesn't have to end ugly. And so I feel like the older I get, the more it's like you want to leave with peace. And some of the breakups I've experienced, I've really tried my best to do that. And you just look back on it and reflect as that was what it was supposed to happen at the time. And the doors closed on it. And sometimes no matter if you pray, you fuss, you cry, you fight, whatever you try to do, you just still can't make something work that's not meant to be. And so I really like that song. All those songs tell the story of my life, especially since I've been here in Nashville 4 years ago, which I told you has been a whirlwind. So
I love this comment. Jan always listens, avid listener of my show here too. I'm sobbing. Wow, that's what mamas are for. Such a
Aw,
raw and real song, and you're right. That's what mamas are for. Thank you for sharing. I love that too. So just
yeah,
thank
thank
you
you.
guys for the comments there too. Try to keep them coming. We'll get to a few more. I love this too because we talk about dream stages. I'm seeing more and more artists make their Opry debut now too. And I know if your phone has rung already, I'm not surprised. But if it's going to ring in the future, which I know it is going to ring, how big would that be if climactic part of your career? And then also too, give me some stages like Red Rocks and some other ones out there that you want to
Oh
step on
yeah.
to perform.
Yeah, I mean that call has not came yet, but I hope and pray, and it feels like maybe within the next 3 years tops that I'll hopefully
Hmm.
get that call because I really feel like everything's going how it's supposed to, and this next couple of years are gonna be great. But yeah, man, I would cry. I got to get stronger before I get in that Opry circle because I am a baby and I'm as sensitive as they get. But
Hmm.
man, I would love to play there. I would love to play Red Rocks, like you said. Like,
Hmm.
what a view! I haven't even been there yet, but that's on my bucket list to try to get out there for a show this coming year. And yeah, Billy Bob's down in Texas. I
Hmm.
want to try to make my way to Texas and play on a lot more stages there for sure. But those three are probably my top three for sure.
Everybody knows you've been in that town for a long time, Music City over there, and they say it's a 10-year town, sometimes longer for artists too. Give me some of the most challenging things that you've gone through, maybe some things people don't see, Jesse, when it comes to things that go on behind the scenes and just how tough it is to be in this industry. Of course, when you're on top, but you got to keep writing, you got to keep putting out great songs. And I know
Yeah.
there's some challenges you've gone through in your career. Talk about those for me.
Yeah, I know even I think before we were live, me and you were talking about just how, with your job and starting something up and just getting it rolling
Hmm.
is one of no matter which industry and what your job occupation is, it's tough to do that. So I didn't realize when I wanted to sing, I was going to be a small business owner. And, I'm completely independent. I don't have management whatsoever. I don't have all that yet. I can't wait to one day have the dream team that I want and pray for. But it is tough. I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people ask just the great things, and at least I know you deal with a lot of independent artists, and I'm sure kind of more than probably the average person
Hmm.
does. But it is tough. You move here. I mean, like I said, I was a teacher, so I knew what I had to do to be a teacher, the prerequisites, the requirements to graduate and get that degree. But there's so many ways you can be successful in this industry, and really a lot of people move here with a lot of money or they know somebody. And
Hmm.
honestly, I didn't have either of that. So I moved here. I was tired of my excuses, and I was like, I didn't have a lot of money. I maybe had $1,000 to my name, and I moved here and just figured it out. And I worked at a crappy daycare. My paycheck bounced. I then went to serve tables at a bar, or a restaurant downtown on Broadway, and then I went to the National Palace, and then eventually I'm basically full time musician. Been that for 3 years, and I'm majority play on Broadway right now at Miranda's Bar on Fridays
Hmm.
and Mondays and Saturdays at Jason Aldean's. But it's just hard because you kind of got to figure it out. Like a lot of people do have, like a lot of people walk dogs and they watch kids, and I knew when I moved here, like I want to try everything I could to try to not go that route because I
Hmm.
spent 5 years of my life already giving my whole entire day and all my time. I mean, you know what it's probably like. You have a kid, and when you're a teacher, it ain't just you clock out, you go home. You got emails, you got to grade papers, and like it's just very time consuming. And I knew
Hmm.
when I moved here, I'm like, if right now at the stage I'm at, I just have to still be singing in bars and majority cover
Hmm.
songs, and so be it. I enjoy doing that more, and I want to be able to get better and grow. And you can only grow when you're devoting your time to something. So all of my days are about music, and I'm writing 3 days a week, and I'm gigging
Hmm.
3 days, and I try to go on the road a weekend out of the month. And I told you I'm trying to get out there more in 2024, but it's tough. I mean, you spend more days crying than you do smiling. I know that from a lot of my friends as well. There's a lot of days where you really need to read
Hmm.
fan messages like Jan just sent, and people's messages in my inbox keep me going because I mean, we're human. We wake up and we're like, man, am I doing this right? Am I past the mark? Am I too old? I mean, all the things that the devil
Hmm.
can put in your head. Am I too
Yeah.
poor? Am I not doing it the right way? Does my brand need to change? I mean, you have to really be sure of yourself and just confident and just stay in prayer, because I mean, when you go do the thing that you've always wanted to do, the devil's definitely gonna come knocking at your door as well. So there's a lot of challenges. That, I guess, in a nutshell, that's probably the biggest ones, just keeping
Mhm.
yourself afloat financially when you are an independent and you don't have rich family and you can't call mom. I mean, I can call mom about anything, but I love her to death. I mean, I can't, you know.
No, you well said. When I started this too, it took a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It was my investment. It was go broke or go home, or just don't do it at
Yeah.
all. Or if you're going to put, like I said, one foot in, put the other one in, because it took a full time commitment too as well. And then, thanks to our syndication now, business does pick up when you're back. I love country radio, love showcasing artists like yourself with tremendous talent too on the air with KKTC, and it's fantastic to have people like you who do work hard and earn it, and do it the right way too as well. And I mean, every artist has their own path to stardom, or what they like to think is stardom out there too as well. And everybody works hard. It's a great town. It's just everybody has different ways of doing things, but everybody
Yeah.
has gone through the sacrifices.
Oh,
Even Lady
yeah.
Wilson told me herself on this show back in December of 2020 when I had her on as a guest. I was living
Oh,
out of my
wow.
car when I first moved to town.
I heard
And
she lived in a camper too. I know,
Wow.
in days when I want to complain, I'm like, I live in a house, so I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Like, it could be worse. Like, chin up, buttercup, like, get over it kind of a thing. Because I've heard stories like that, not just Lainey, just multiple
Yeah.
people. You probably wouldn't know it. They come and show up for a songwriting session, and some of them probably do live in their car.
They probably do.
They have an unstable situation, so whatever you got to do to get there is what this town's all about. That's why I love it. There's just an infectious dream chasing energy here in Nashville.
Well, when I get back there, hopefully for CRS 2024, we'll come back to that. I think it's the 28th and 29th of February because of leap year, and of course March 1st.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to come out there on that Friday night to see you at Miranda's or Aldine's
Okay.
restaurant, because I know exactly where we're doing the shows from the Omni, and of course after hours we're going to go out and find stuff to do. So if you're playing,
Yeah.
count me in as a guest of someone who's going to show up and appreciate and just take in all this great music out there too. Hey, let's have a little fun with this little rapid fire thing I have here. So easy questions, whatever comes to mind, just spit it out. Sometimes it takes a little thought, but and they're fun questions. All right, favorite flavor of ice cream for Jessie Wilson?
Gooey butter cake. It's a Jenny's ice cream flavor.
Told you they're fun. Last show to binge watch or series, what'd you get into?
Oh shoot, Breaking Bad.
Yes, that's one of the all-time classics.
I know. I have to catch up. I'm so late. All my friends are like, "You've never seen that?" I'm like, "No, no."
That's okay. You're busy. You're writing 3 times a week, playing gigs, and doing what's hard. You're an artist. You're a musician, and you're working your tail off out there too. All right, toppings on pizza. What goes on Jessie's favorite pizza?
Oh, I'm so boring. I have pepperoni and cheese, honestly.
She's gonna go.
I don't really like all the supreme stuff. Yeah, I'm just very boring when it comes to pizza.
It's all good. You're simple on that too. First song ever to sing live on stage. Could be a cover.
Oh man. It was an original, actually. I sang at a coffee shop when I was like 16 or 17. So I sang one of the first songs I'd ever written, called Just in Time. That's nowhere to be found, thank God. I took that down right before I came to Nashville. But anyways.
You don't want that to be found. We don't want to see that particular song. I love that too.
Yeah.
Christmas traditions, as far as Christmas goes, with mom, with the family. Any traditions you guys have?
Yeah. I go stay at my sister's house in Noonan, Georgia, with the boys. I got 2 nephews I love dearly, 5th grade and 1st grade, and we get Christmas dramas and spend the night out there with them and her husband, and then we do pig in the blankets in the morning for Christmas morning. So
we gotta love those things, no doubt. They're renaming. I used to call those things kolaches, but every donut shop you go into now calls those things. There, even a gas station was calling a pig in a blanket now. They are. It's a different terminology. I used to just say
maybe
like,
that was
kolaches.
A redneck thing. Yeah.
Must be, because I'm here in Texas. Georgia's just a couple states down there next door, so I'm like, maybe they're just back to pig in a blanket or whatever. But it's one of those little slang terms that they have for a southern thing. I still call them kolaches, and some stores do it, but others do a pig in a blanket there too at the same time. Hey, Jess, I love this music. Airstream Dreams across all the digital platforms, featuring Caleb Lee Hutchinson, who we hope to get on the show here in a couple of weeks to get his perspective on the single. Fantastic collaboration, and of course the EP. How about we find out? We found out a lot today on the show. The EP across all the digital platforms, and check her out there every Friday at Miranda's, and of course there at Jason Aldean's restaurant on Broadway, performing, doing what she loves best. She's one of the best and brightest up and coming country music stars out there, Jessie Wilson. Hey, let's do this again in 2024 when new projects come out. Hope you had a good time.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. The one, the only Jessie Wilson here on the Backstage Pass. Tomorrow we're going to do a little doubleheader to finish the week. An artist named Dasha coming by here on the show. And of course, an artist you might know of. He had a little song called Just Got Started Loving You. He's got a new Christmas single called That Spirit of Christmas. James Otto coming by here on the Backstage Pass tomorrow about 4:45 Central Standard Time. And again, thanks to our sponsors, Bangtail Whiskey in Honky Tonk, Texas. Again, thanks to KKTC, True Country 99.9, and via the LMNOC streaming app and HighTideCountry.net. We're powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. We'll see you guys tomorrow. James Otto here on the show. Until then, take care and have a terrific night. See you.